Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is a quick update over at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant situation. So the Ukrainians have actually launched a daring commando raid on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant region, just next to Enohoda. So this is Enohoda city, and this is the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Particularly is this part. These are all the nuclear power reactors, and they have launched a daring commando raid. The aim is to capture the nuclear power plant, I guess. And so let's take a look at what is happening. So on this day, this happening on the 9th of the 1st of September in the morning. The Russian Ministry of Defense announced in a separate post on Telegram on its own, saying that at 6 a.m. Moscow time, the Ukrainians troops have launched two sabotage groups up to 60 soldiers in 7 boats. They landed on the coast of the Kakhovsky Reservoir, 3 kilometers northeast of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, in the attempt to seize the power plant. So, northeast of the nuclear power plant there is a few positions that the different sources are saying, because they are all based on the Russian Ministry of Defense. So you from the nuclear power plant 3 kilometers, it doesn't really reach the coast. So the estimator is actually around either the northern side here of this peninsula or coast area, or it's probably around here. Probably the beach area here might make a lot of sense because this is more landable, whereas this area here is more swampy, probably much more less traversable. So especially here they have roads, so probably they landed around this area here. And so in a later post by the Russian Ministry of Defense, they said that the is actually 7 motorboats, fast-moving motorboats. They landed at the coast, so they actually successfully landed 60 people, up to 60 people. However, they are detected by the Russian troops, the Russian National Guard units guarding the territory of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, and they started fighting. And as such, because the Russian National Guards actually called for reinforcement. A unit of the Russian Armed Forces is actually brought in, and helicopters of the Army Aviation is also transferred to reinforce the guards. And according to some posts that I've seen, the Russians even sent in Sukhoi 25 and also the KA, I think 52, the attack helicopters. So I saw them flew past around this kind of high-rise buildings towards whatever they are actually trying to strike. So, and I thought this was over. This is the only attack that this maybe the sabotage attempt of sort. And then we actually came a later information that also from the Russian Ministry of Defense that at 7 a.m. so 1 hour later after this daring raid, probably to send in the vanguard to probably establish a beachhead, or to actually act as a diversion force. A separate attempt to land near Vodian. So this is Vodian. They're trying to land around here, a few kilometers away from Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, Vodian, and they attempted to land tactical airborne assault from 2 self-propelled barge from Nikopol. Nikopol is this city around here, and they are carrying tactical airborne assault troops of the Ukrainian armed forces. And however, these 2 barge is actually sunk by the Russian forces before they even arrive at the landing place. So so the barge actually looks like this. In the from a satellite image view. It's actually rather huge. So this is allegedly one of this barge that was damaged or hit by the Russian forces. And in the close-up, you'll probably see that what the hell is it's actually rather huge. You can see in comparison to the trees, and I can show you you can see this is a very big. You can imagine a person standing here. This barge can actually carry probably some heavy equipment as well. I think carrying tanks and vehicles, or even a huge number of troops, I think is no problem. So however, these two barge launched from Nikopo did not manage to reach this target. They got sunk. Most likely sunk by attack aircraft and or attack helicopters of the Russian armed forces. So this comes and then after that, while this is happening, so this is 7 a.m. at 8 a.m. The Ukrainian artillery started to shell the site of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, as well as the location of Vasilivka, which is actually here, this city, this smaller city here or town. They got shelled as well by the Ukrainian forces. This is rather unusual because the Ukrainian forces never shelled Vasilivka as far as the coverage so far I have seen. They very seldom shell Vasilivka, never, for at least for the past 3 weeks. So 4 shells actually exploded in the distance of 400 meters away from Unit 1. I'm not sure Unit 1 is this one or this one. So, but the shelling is seems to be indiscriminate. It's not very targeted. It's just in a general direction kind of a shelling, it seems. So so why this attack? So there's this very weird coincidence that this is also the day that the IAEA mission led by the Rafael Grossi, the director of the IAEA, is supposed to arrive at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. So according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, in a very long post, which I only took out part of it, they said that this provocation is thwarted by the Russian armed forces, and that the Rafael Grossi led IAEA mission has arrived at the nuclear power plant and started its planned work. So and then they praise this IAEA team because they say that it's worthy of respect because despite of the shelling, the team went ahead with their mission. And the Russian Ministry of Defense also called out the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres for not even saying anything about this thing, and they feel that such silence raise question of the objectivity of the United Nations approach towards the situation over at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And so in a separate information, a separate source of this information, I saw it on Intel Slava. They say that according of the 60 soldiers, reported soldiers, 47 of these commandos, I will call them commandos because this is exactly what commandos do, but they call it DRG, Deep Recon Group. I think commando sounds better. So the 47 commandos are killed. 3 are taken prisoner. So this is actually very significant to be able to capture live soldiers, because this will be then used as evidence, as a witness, in any court trial that the Russians is going to push against the Ukrainians. And 2 are seriously injured, and there are 12 they are still encircled on 3 sides, cut off from the water and boats. So there are still 12 soldiers are reportedly still at large, but they are already surrounded. Not sure where are they. Probably they are in this area, because I don't think they managed to even come close. This distance even from is around 2 kilometers something. From the closest point of the nuclear power plant is around 2.7 kilometers away from this beach area. So it's very hard, 2 kilometers to go through a highly guarded area, especially on the day where the IAEA chief is supposed to come. The security around the nuclear power plant is likely to be heightened, and it's likely to be have more guards and soldiers protecting the plant than usual. So this is actually rather bad day to actually launch a commando raid. So the so regardless what they do, the Rafael Grossi still arrive, and this situation comes with another very weird twist where the IAEA mission, the entire convoy was actually stopped at um the Ukrainian checkpoint over here at the Novo Oleksandrivka. According to Intel Slava, they mentioned that the IAEA mission at the checkpoint of Novo Oleksandrivka Zaporizhzhia region has been stopped. The entire column has been stopped. 20 kilometers from the front line and 186 kilometers from Nohoda. The mission is stopped because of shelling. That at least that's the reason. So in a separate later information, they said that the IAEA mission detained at the Ukrainian side are not allowed to leave, and Grossi personally negotiates with the Ukrainian military on the ground. And according to preliminary information, the entire column is actually held up for 3 hours. So there might be a case where they are trying to hold up the column while they are trying to allow the Ukrainian commandos to actually do their work, especially with so if you look at this landing, they landed here. So this is likely to draw Russian forces and defense or security forces towards the northeast, and this is probably why I feel that this is actually a diversionary force, and then the main force actually comes from this side across 2 barges, and there is actually another information saying that there's actually a lot more boats that is accompanying this barge, but yeah, these are preliminary information. It's very hard to tell if that's true, and these two barge being the size is likely to carry more than 60 soldiers, probably hundreds of soldiers, probably even armored vehicles. It is possible, and should they be able to land, they'll be able to row across and threaten the defenders over at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant and causing this entire area to become a front line, a better zone. From my understanding, there is no heavy equipment at the nuclear power plant area. That means there's no heavily armored vehicles, there's no tanks around here, and I don't think there's artillery here as well. The artillery are all positioned away from the Nohoda and the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant region, specifically to avoid getting criticized for having heavy equipment in the nuclear power plant region, and they actually use other locations to conduct their counter artillery missions, fire missions. And so should these 2 barges, which I assess is likely to carry some heavy vehicles, armored vehicles, if they land, then they will be able to overrun the Russian defenders over at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Because without armored vehicles, it's probably pretty hard to take out armored vehicles, and there is a possibility where the Russian troops here may not actually possess anti-armor missiles. For example, so those kind of N-law type of missiles, because they are not on the front line, the chances of them having something like that is very low. So they probably will have stingers, to shoot at helicopters, but armored vehicles, they probably did not expect that. However, there is also a piece of information that I saw where I did not put it into the map because it's more like a rumor kind of thing, that the Russian intelligence have already known that the Ukrainians are planning to do this raid, and reportedly, according to that Telegram post, they say that this is actually an ambush. They already know the Ukrainians are going to come, and then they are just waiting for them to come, which is why the entire Ukrainian mission went so badly, because the Russians are already waiting for them to come. The air asset, like the air support, the aircraft, the helicopters, and the troops are already standing by. They already know that they're going to come, and that might be a possibility, maybe, because for the barge to come here to here, this distance is only 9 to 10 kilometers. I don't think it will take very long to transfer over. Maybe to sail over probably is just 20 minutes, I guess. I think that's also sounds very long already. So 20-30 minutes I think is believable. And to have an aircraft flying very far away from probably Melitopol area, I think from Melitopol to fly over the detection of the ships and the barges, maybe you will see them maybe halfway through from binoculars. That is even if you actually have troops stationed around in Vodian area to actually look across the river. And so they will be already 15 to 10 minutes away. By the time you can scramble your fighter jets and helicopters, by the time they fly over, your troops would have already landed. So that the theory that it might be a Russian ambush for these troops, for this Ukrainian offensive, might actually be possible. And I find this a bit insidious, because the Ukrainians particularly chose this day to launch an attack, and they chose on the very day of the IAEA visit. And maybe this is the theory that maybe if the IAEA is visiting on this day, the Russians may not have so much troops in this area. At least they will remove all the heavy equipment that they theorized that the Russians are keeping over here. So maybe the Russians will act to be very obedient and very good boy. So maybe in that sense, they think that the Russians' guards will be down. So they delayed the IAEA chief for 3 hours while they launched the attack around here. And then hopefully, if they are able to succeed, then the entire visit might be becoming a very awkward situation, and it will actually brings even more media attention onto the Ukrainian war, and actually give them a very, very huge PR victory. And should the Ukrainians able to take the nuclear power plant while the IAEA visit is going to come, it will make it really hard for the Russians to justify recapturing the Enohoda or the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant region. It will make it a diplomatic disaster for Russia. However, this did not happen, and I think this also kind of corroborates with some of this intel that I have seen. I have seen information about the Ukrainian troops gathering at Mahanats, and including some heavy equipments, which are not artillery, which is kind of weird, because why would the Ukrainians gather troops around the Nikopol Mahanats region where there is actually no land connection? That means these troops deployed in this region will be a waste. The Russians are clearly not going to attack Nikopol in the amphibious landing, so having ground troops around this region makes no sense. So this attempt on Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant actually corroborates that the gathering and accumulation of troops in this region is actually to launch this offensive. And perhaps there are actually more troops in this region. They are supposed to act as second and third wave to reinforce the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant region, as the beachhead is actually being captured by these two landings. So unfortunately, this did not work out for the Ukrainian side, and I can tell you that this visit is very, very highly publicized on the pro-Russian side, and I can show you some footages. Let's hope this is not too loud. Okay, let me. So, this is by the Russian government media. You can see that this is actually the IAEA arriving at the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant region. So you can see that this is actually under the auspice of the United Nations. You can see the vehicles are all white with the UN words. So this is actually United Nations missions. So this is not a joke. This is actually something very serious, and it's a huge convoy, and their security under the Russian occupied region is actually guaranteed by the Russian side. The Russian forces is actually guaranteed, and I will show you that this is the part where they arrived, and you can see that there is huge amount of media that's actually already waiting for them. So this vehicle and is a armored vehicle, probably is leading the front of the convoy to make sure that if there's any bombs or whatever, they will be the one to get hit first to protect the VIPs. So I think this is the one that they're leaving. So let me go to another one. Sorry, this one. So you see, as the IAEA people moving, you can see that they're actually crowded and surrounded by media, and everyone want to ask questions, want to capture footage of this director. This is the director. He's the leader of this IAEA mission, and I think this guy, this bald guy, is the representative from the Russian side that is actually leading the director around the Zaporizhzhia region. And some of these things that they have done is actually to look at the alleged shelling by the Ukrainian side, and you can see that he's actually they're looking at this rocket and missile, and they're explaining to the director how this missile is actually in this region, is being shelled, and even help him to take photo. I think you may want to hear this.
Thank you for today. It was, I think, we were able in these few hours to put together a lot of information. The key things I needed to see, I saw, and your explanations were very clear. Yeah, but the work.
So basically, he said that. So let me please. So this is actually them leaving already. The director is leaving. So some of the things that he said, that he's here for a very, very short time, but he already seen all the important things that he actually wanted to see, and so that's why he's leaving already, and he already know what he wants to know, and I think this doesn't seem to be boding very well for the Ukrainian side, because it's very clear that the Russians are very open about this, and they actually have all the medias here. They brought him around freely, and I'm not sure what the IAEA will say. So because who knows that the IAEA will actually turn around and say, oh, everything is Russia's fault. That is also possible, because it's geopolitics, it's diplomacy, things can be very messed up, and people will lie. So I'm not sure what would the IAEA director say. According to a different piece of information I saw that Putin has already invited either I think it's the director or the UN Secretary General, I think it's the director, to give a speech about his findings at the Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant. So I think it's gonna be quite a popcorn. So prepare your popcorn. I think this is going to be very interesting. And meanwhile, this is looking really, really bad for the Ukrainian side, because this entire game that they are playing has totally messed up. It's supposed to be an epic PR victory with with the mind-blowing, wow, what the fuck happened kind of thing, where the Ukrainians took over Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant at the very day of the IAEA visit, and they become the guy that is actually welcoming the United Nations team. End up this entire nonsense did not work out, or perhaps make Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Plant a war zone, forcing the entire IAEA mission to be abandoned, and then and then they can actually continue to blame or point fingers whatever they want. However, this entire thing did not work out. So so this is the the commando raid, the very daring and courageous and crazy attempt by the Ukrainian side to actually try to capture the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And the summary will be coming next, and I'll see you in the next update.